friends, let's make a cute little breadboard today. This is a piece of scrap wood I got from a local place here, and it's just a very rough wood. I took some glazed donut from Paint Pixie. It's kind of a creamy color, more like a khaki color. And I took my little tool and I just put some on the sides and then just scrape some on the top to make it have this little look. Now we're going to use a little piece of music. This came from an old hymnal. It says, "Sweet Peace, the gift of God's love." We're going to put that on there. We'll have to take a little bit of the sides off, but we're going to go ahead and kind of tear that and just make it look a little bit more of a vintage look. This is very, very fragile paper. This book came from the 60s. We're going to do both sides and kind of just make that look a little bit more with the look that we want. You just tear it very easily, y'all, because it does kind of, it is a little brittle, so just be careful anytime that you're using old paper. I did add a little bit of coffee stain to this. And I'll tell you what's in the coffee stain. I'm using this right here, and I make it myself. It is 1 cup of instant coffee. Make sure that you're using instant coffee. It must be instant coffee. 1/2 cup, excuse me, 1/2 cup of instant coffee. I do use a cup because I make 2 cups at a time. So for that container, it does have a whole cup. But in the original recipe for 1 cup, it's 1/2 cup of instant coffee, 1 cup of lukewarm or warmer water. And you can use distilled water if you like. The distilled water kind of keeps it fresher longer. 2 tablespoons of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. I did also add a little bit of allspice to mine. We're just going to put this down, and then I can always tear off just a little bit more on the sides. We're going to use the Mod Podge in Multi. You just stir all of that together, and the cinnamon and the spices are not going to actually dissolve in there. They're going to be at the very bottom. So if you really want some of that really grungy, which is what I used on this heart here, a little bit more grungy, dip all the way to the bottom. I would keep it in the refrigerator just because it will mold no matter which water you use. It can mold if you leave it out too long. I wouldn't leave it out over a couple of days and then put it back in your refrigerator. Now, before you use it, you can stick it in the microwave without your metal top and just warm it for a minute or 2. And that's going to get it back to where it needs to be. So I'm just going to use the Mod Podge. I'm going to put this on. And we will just tear a little bit off. I'm going to go ahead and move it to this edge, and then we'll just tear the one side off. And we still have that name of the music on there. We'll just tear this little part right here off. Just keep your fingers on it as you tear, and that'll keep you from tearing it all the way across. Then if we still have some, we can always sand it off a little bit. Now we're just going to take it and put it back on here. And then I'm going to take a plastic bag, just a little sandwich bag, and I'm just going to press down on that. The heat from your hands will help that stay down. And then you are, because this is a little piece of fragile paper, you are going to have to kind of put some on the sides to keep it down, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and tear just that little bit that we've got right here off, and a little bit down here. I'm not going to worry if it tears off a little bit because it will be fine. There we go. Now we're going to take a little bit more of our Mod Podge and just put some across the top, down the sides, and just make sure that it's on there well. You can go ahead and seal the whole thing after it dries a little bit. I would let it dry because sometimes if you go ahead and put your sealer on beforehand and don't let it dry, it will buckle up See how it buckles up a little bit? And it just has so much liquid on there, it kind of pulls off some of your print. So let that dry well and then go back with your Mod Podge. Now we're going to add a little heart, and this is one I also use some of the coffee grunge on. It's just a piece of a sack that you get from Amazon. So just any kind of material like that works, or use cardboard, totally up to you. We're going to put some Mod Podge on the back of this one. Now they do curl a little bit. A little curling isn't going to hurt you. Just put your Mod Podge on the back of that. This is a pretty simple, easy project. Any kind of scrap wood will work, or you can buy one of the little cutting boards from one of the stores and use those, or check out when you go to the thrift store. Now, at the thrift store, I don't really buy them from there unless it's one that looks like it has not been used. I might buy it, but if you buy one that's used, I would say scrub it really, really well and just use it for decor. And it's okay if our heart's over just a little bit. Just like that. Okay. You can always trim that down if you want it perfect. I am okay with that. Okay, now we're going to put our little cardboard heart on top of that. We're going to put it on with a little bit of hot glue. I just took a piece of cardboard, took the top off of it, made it variegated. This one's a little thin one. This little thin piece of cardboard. And then I put some of the coffee grunge on it. We're just going to put that right there in the middle, just like that. Cute, cute. Now, I did a little piece of fabric. I do have another video that will show you how to make these little fabric roses. You'll find that on my YouTube channel. And I think we'll just put it in the middle. You can put it up here, totally up to you. I think we might just put it up here today, or we could just put it on the top there. Either way you want to do it will be fine. We are going to tie a ribbon here, so I think we might put it up there. That will be out of the way. Let's just take some hot glue. You want to use some good fabric glue on here, and you can use a little hot glue. The hot glue a little warm while you're doing it, so if you're going to do it in your hand, I would use the fabric. I would not recommend this Aleene's. This, at first, it looked like it was going to stick, but it is not a very good adhesive. So would not use this product. I'd use the Stick Fast or the Ranger brand. That's my opinion on what works for me. I tried it today. It did not want to work, so I ended up using some hot glue. You can use some low temperature hot glue and do these, and you won't have to worry about burning your hand, or use your finger protector. So we've got that, simple, easy, already done. This is a piece of vintage material. This material and these are from Jubilee Fabric. I love these brown colors. They're good for any time. We're going to use that and get this even. And then we'll trim off what we don't need. Okay? And I'm just going to take it and tie it kind of loosely. Let's get it straight a little bit. There we go. I did coffee stain this as well. We're just going to tie just a little string. I'm going to tie over, and I think that'll be the way we want. Sometimes you have to kind of play with it. That looks cute. And then just kind of pull your sides out just a little bit, just a little knot. If you tie over, it makes that little middle knot look a little bit better. Now let's trim these edges here. I'm going to kind of unroll them a little bit. They do get a little bit wrinkled. Let's get our fabric scissors. They will work better. You could stamp on the back of this. You could add some other embellishments. Totally up to what you like and what you want. And I don't worry about the material being exact either, because it is a scrap piece of material. Tie it just a little bit tighter. Now you can take a dab of glue and put right under there, or you can put a dab of glue on the back if you like, just to give it a little extra hold there. So I'm just going to take and just put one little dab of the hot glue right there. Not a lot, just a little bitty piece. There we go. That's going to kind of hold that. And then I made a little tag, and I think we'll just put the little tag here. You could put a little heart. You could put a key. I'm going to round this off just a little bit. Make it look more like a tag. Any kind of items you want to use on there. I used a little bit of Sweet Annie and a button on mine. You're just going to kind of put it on there as a little tag. And I'm going to use one of these little pins. You can order these from Amazon. I do not have these in my Amazon shop. I did buy them from there, so I will find them and add that to my link tree. And you can always go and find the links on my link tree. I do make a small profit from that. Look how cute that little pin is. So that's what we have. How quick and easy was that? I love it. I hope that you love it. Be sure and leave me a sweet comment. Give me a little heart and share this out. I hope that you enjoyed it. And we're going to put one little piece of... Okay, I added my little piece of material and I made my little hole at the top a little bit bigger. I'm just tying a little small knot. You can make it a little bit longer and tie your knot different if you'd like. This was just a little piece that I had left over. I thought I would use it for the hanger. You don't have to hang this, but it is cute to put on there just for a finished look. And just pull it tight. And there you've got your cute hanger. I hope that you enjoyed and will subscribe to my channel. Thank you.